Do you fear letting someone in again because you're afraid the past will repeat itself? Have you dated so many of the wrong ones that you fear the right one doesn't even exist? Are you afraid to repeat another toxic relationship pattern? Because of our past experiences, this can close us off to letting love in again. We question, does healthy love even exist? Because all we've known is toxicity. But we have to understand that as we heal and grow, we're less likely to attract in the same thing, and we're more likely to attract in a healthy love. So don't let the right one get away just because a wrong one hurt you. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. After repeating pattern after pattern, after only experiencing unhealthy relationships, after only ever seeing bad people, whether that's men or women, we can get into a state of feeling, does healthy love exist? Do good men exist? Do good women exist? You know, if I get into another relationship again, am I going to be controlled? Am I going to be abused? Am I going to be treated like shit the way I always have? And we can get into this mentality, like, you know, I'm more than once in my history, I have said, I fucking hate men. I have said, all men are toxic. I have said, all men are assholes. I've said it. I've said it over and over and over again because I genuinely believed that the world was full of shitheads. I really did. And that's the thing, because that was the environment I grew up in. That was the world I lived in. So I only ever believed that men were evil. You know, I'd been hurt, I'd been abused, I'd been treated so badly, verbally, physically, sexually, in all ways. So I had this belief that all men were bad. And this can go both ways. So flip it. You know, if you're a man and you've experienced female abuse, you know, that's the same thing. You can go into this mentality of thinking, I'm not going to be controlled again. I'm not going to be abused again. All women are bitches. You know, and that's what we can feel. When you're hurt over and over again, this is what we can feel. And it took for me a long, long time. And most of my friends were male. You know what I mean? But I still had a mentality of romantic men were fucking assholes. And it was a long time till I actually saw a difference. Because I grew up in a low energy environment, you know, and I only ever witnessed abuse. I only ever witnessed toxic love. So even when I started dating myself, I only ever attracted toxic love. And this comes down to, again, that feeling of unworthiness. When we're unhealed from traumatic childhood experiences, or when all you've ever witnessed is toxic love, you know, look back on your parents, you know, is it connected to the relationships that you've had? Is there a mirrored energy? For example, my dad was an alcoholic and I ended up in a nature narcissistic relationship with an alcoholic. Do you know what I mean? And actually succumbed to alcohol myself. I witnessed violence growing up and I ended up in a violent relationship. You know, this is it. We attract what we perceive. So if we're continuously believing that the world is full of toxic people, we're going to continue to attract toxic people because what we believe we attract. So it took for me a long time, and it was gas. Like, I lived in this town my whole life, and this town was like, I don't know whether it still is or not, such a low vibrational energy. Like we were a very negative energy. You know, everyone was kind of the same. That small town mindset, I call it. It's like, leave the fucking village. But anyway, when you're in that confined space, you take on the traits of your environment. So like, you know, every time I saw couples, a lot of the times anyway, you know, they weren't the right couples. And like, they'd be looking at each other like they want to just kill each other. So I always just knew love as hate, as toxicity. And then I moved to a different village. I was actually, you know, I had to leave the village I was in. And I started to become friends with these people, these couples. And I was just like, your boyfriend's an alien. Your boyfriend's an alien. The reason I call them aliens was because they were nice. They were good. And I won't say nice. They were kind. They were loving. They were thoughtful. They were fucking aliens. And I were like, Jesus, where did you find your alien? I want one of those. Do you know what I mean? Because I actually started to see that good men existed. Like kind men existed. So I actually thought to myself, maybe one day I could have that. But yeah, I still call them aliens because I've never actually experienced that before. Well, my twin flame is an alien. He's actually a good guy. But like, you know, before him, I never actually experienced nice people or good guys, you know, kind men. And so I actually had that belief system that, you know, I'm not letting anyone else in again because they're all toxic. And this is the same for men. If men have been in controlling relationships as well, they can swear off dating as well and say, I'm not getting controlled by another woman. And oftentimes women can be controlling in relationships. You know what I mean? Because they're in the wrong one. And that's the thing, like, you know, if you're in the wrong relationship, you're going to be trying to change that person into what to fit into your mold. And we can, because of the victims of these relationships, we are the victims of these relationships. We can take on this mentality of, I can't do this again. I can't let somebody in again because I can't be hurt again. And that's why we put up those walls. And we feel that they're walls of protection, but they're detrimental. Oh my God. They really are. Like, I got to a stage where my heart was pure, like I spoke about this before. I had a one-way system. I could give love, but I couldn't receive it. And it was like half my heart was stone and the other half was open. But it got to a stage where I was continuously healing my heart, but it got to a stage where I was protecting myself so much that I could feel the other half of my heart closing as well. And I was like, this has to change. This has to change. Because I wasn't even letting friendships in. I wasn't letting anyone in because I'd lost so much in my life. I was afraid. I was afraid to be hurt again. But we can lose out on so much amazing opportunities if we don't open our hearts to what really is out there. You know, and like this comes to this, the women thing, right? Us women who have been hurt continues to say, excuse me, my type is a bad boy. You know, I love a bad boy. And then a nice guy who they're actually deep down, what we truly want is a kind man, a kind, protective, loving man who owns his emotional intelligence, right? That's what we want. We don't want this fucking hardcore fucking asshole behavior, but we've only ever known hardcore asshole behavior. So if we actually meet a kind person, and like, as I said, if you're a guy watching this, flip the roles, you know what I mean? You know, vice versa. Like, you know, we're so used to a certain type of love, and it wasn't love, it was toxic. We're so used to being treated like shit. We get treated like, well, and it's like, no, he's not my type. Oh my God, I got the ick. He's too nice. He's too fucking nice. You know, it's this mentality of, it's an unconscious mentality of, if he doesn't treat me like shit, he doesn't love me. Because we felt that being treated like shit was love. Because that's all we've ever known. So to actually grow yourself out of that behavior and gravitate into what you do want, not what you thought you wanted or what you thought you deserved, that's the thing. The only reason we attract these kind of relationships, as I said, is because it's what we see in our environment, but it's also what we feel within us. When we have that lack of self-worth, we think we're unworthy. As I used to say when I figured it out, it was like I felt like I was a piece of shit, so therefore I attracted shit. You know, shit sticks to shit. Anyway, but that was my mentality. I wasn't a bad person. I wasn't, and I didn't deserve that. But because I was so low in my confidence, because I didn't feel like I was worthy of love, I attracted in really low vibrational love. It wasn't love. I keep saying that. It's not fucking love. It's fucking toxicity. You know what I mean? We look back on these old relationships. They're not love. That was not love. That was a fucking lie. That whole thing was a lie. It was abuse. It was fucking abuse. And because of that abuse, we're so scared. We're so scared that we're going to attract that again. And I've been single for a long time. I'm on the twin flame journey anyway, so that was the point of that. But when I saw the pattern, before I really knew I was a twin flame, I started to see the pattern of narcissistic abuse, and I was like, there has to be a reason for this. There's no such thing as coincidence. There's no coincidences in this world. If I keep attracting narcissists, and I was attracting narcissistic bosses as well, I was like, there has to be something within me that I need to heal. And it's only within healing that can we actually attract high vibration love into our lives. But we can get so hyper independent in that middle phase that it can actually be detrimental to our heart walls and our heart core, our wounds, because I nearly closed up so completely. And now that's not just from past relationships. I had to walk away from family members and friends as well throughout this journey. And that broke my heart even more. And the more we lose people, and the more the people I've had to walk away from actually started to turn narcissistic as well. So anyway, the thing is it was like, if I ever let anyone in again, are they not going to be another narc? You know what I mean? I was like, fucking hell, if I'm better off on my own if I don't let anybody into my life, because I can't attract in abuse. But that time of isolation, that time in between, once you do give yourself that time, because oftentimes people don't give themselves a chance to heal, but you need that time to heal, to discover what you do truly want. But when you actually do heal your heart and heal yourself, you become so, you end up loving yourself so completely that you do end up healing your self-worth. And then that is proof enough that you will attract in something to match your new vibration, which is a high vibration, which is an unconditionally loving vibration. So you're ready now to attract in that high vibration of love. So we can't be afraid anymore. And you can't repeat the past, not after this transition. This healing, that growth. Once you do that healing and growth, you can't repeat the past cycle, because in fairness, you're not that person anymore. That person who attracted low vibrational energy, that person who attracted that controlling relationship was wounded. Your inner child was wounded. But in healing your inner child and becoming the best version of yourself, giving yourself that time and space to grow and heal, you're not going to attract that same stuff anymore. And you can't paint everyone with the same brush anyway. This is something really big. You know what I mean? You can't say that every woman is controlling. You can't say that every man is narcissistic. You just can't, because it's not true. And I know it took me a long time to believe that. I had to see physical proof of these women with their aliens. Do you know what I mean? I had to see that there was actually nice men in this world, kind men in this world, before I actually could say, maybe I deserve that. Maybe one day I can get that. And that's an awful lot of the thing as well. We don't think we deserve it because of what we've been through. That wounded inner child inside us and how those past partners have treated us have made us feel less deserving of love. And then we always compare it to our parents. We always compare it to what we've known. It's like my parents had a volatile relationship, or my parents split up, or my, whatever dynamic you were in. Even if parents stayed together, there could have been a lot of anger there. And you're kind of saying to yourself, I don't want to repeat that. So maybe I'll just stay alone. It's not better to be alone and happy than it is to be with somebody that's toxic. Yes, of course it is. But one of the quotes that triggered me a little bit when my heart was closing up was, humans aren't supposed to be on their own. And don't get me wrong, I'm an advocate for independence. Be independent. We should be in interdependent relationships. But it gets to the stage where it gets so painful. It's so painful that you don't let anyone else in. And I mean friendship as well. You know what I mean? I wasn't letting friends in either. I was really closed off. And it was hurting. It was killing me. I was getting so lonely. And I'm not lonely. I love being on my own. I love it. Do you know what I mean? But I got to the stage where I realized that these walls of protection were not protecting me. They were hurting me even more. And that's it. And it really fucked me up to think that my heart could close so completely. That was my wake-up call. I've spent my life not being able to receive love. I'd be fine, not necessarily, but the thoughts of never being able to give love again to a friend, a family member, a pet, anything, you know what I mean? I was like, that can't happen. I live for loving. I love love. You know what I mean? I live for loving people. I live for helping people. How am I supposed to survive in this world if I can't love? And that's when I realised how dangerous it is to close up completely, to not let people in. And I was so in the mentality of don't let anyone in, don't let anyone in. You're safe, you're safe, you're safe. You can't repeat a pattern if you don't let anyone in. But isn't it better to have loved and lost than never loved at all? And I mean that, in friendships as well. Do you know what I mean? Letting people in, letting people love you. That's the most amazing feeling of all. And in just understanding that and understanding I was afraid to be loved and just letting some friendship into my lives, being ready for my twin flame love, that kind of energy is after transforming me so much in the last few months. And it was only around Christmas that I realised, I think it was the 6th of December I did the video on my heart turning to stone. So between December and I suppose January, I went through an awful lot of intense heart awakening and heart trauma. And it was that wake-up call that allowed me to let my friends in properly. And that in turn has brought my twin back. We're still in separation, but he did come back a couple of times. But I'm still slowly opening that heart wound. But the more I've opened it, the more close I'm getting with my friends, the more opportunities that are flowing into my life, the happier I am. I'm not lonely anymore. You know what I mean? I know I don't have to do these things on my own. And I'm getting support in all areas of my life now because I'm opening my heart again. So you might think that you're protecting yourself, that you're keeping yourself safe, but you're not. It actually gets quite lonely, miserable, and it hurts. Your heart really hurts when it starts to really seize up. It really does. And I've been through the worst, and I don't care anymore. I know that I'm healed enough to attracting the right people. These people in my life now, they're not going to hurt me. And I'm only hurting myself by not letting them in. So once again, I'll say it. Don't let the right one get away. Or don't let a good one get away just because a bad one hurt you. It's that simple. It's time to open your heart. You are ready. You're ready to attracting that high vibration love because you really do deserve it. You are worthy. You are enough. And you do not deserve what you went through in the past. You deserve something special. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help you on your path.